North Carolina Constitution. We hear about it all the time in this chamber, and this year we actually passed a bill which would require legislators to read this document and to certify that we've read it. We also take an oath to uphold this Constitution when we're sworn into office. So just in case you haven't read it in a while or forget what it says, I want to read Article 1, Section 15 of the North Carolina Constitution. It says, "The people have a right to the privilege of education, and it is the duty of the state to guard and maintain that right." Article 9, Section 2 states, "The General Assembly shall provide for a general and uniform system of free public schools wherein equal opportunity shall be provided for all students." Our lawful obligation that we swear an oath to is to fund our public schools first. The children of North Carolina have a right to a high-quality education. They have the right to learn at an inclusive and accountable public school in a safe and healthy learning environment led by an excellent teacher. All North Carolina students have the right to a public school with a supportive principal, ample resources, access to mental health services, and more. But once again, the budget writers and the majority party have chosen to ignore the rights set forth in our North Carolina Constitution and our state's children by underfunding our public schools and instead pouring over $1 billion, billion with a B, in this 2-year budget to private school voucher slush fund. Since 2014, when the voucher program started, our state has sent over $1 billion to private schools. In this budget that we're voting on today, we will spend $1.36 billion in just the next 2 years. Let that sink in. We will spend more in the next 2 years for this program than we've spent in the last 10. Yesterday, an Appropriations Committee, in a response to an amendment which would have taken some voucher money to give to Tier 1 schools that many of you represent for field trips. The response to the amendment was, quote, "We don't want to take away from one kid to give to another." Wow. Well, that's exactly what this budget does. It steals from our public school students. It steals from the vast majority of North Carolina children to give taxpayer money to people who honestly do not need it. The majority of families that receive vouchers this year already went to private schools, and they already paid for it just fine without the help of the state. This budget puts our public schools last. It says they are not important enough to invest in, that the state's priority is handouts to private schools. Now, kids ask me questions all the time about their schools. They ask, why does their school have no air conditioning? Why can't they get a new laptop to replace the one that broke last week? Why is their school nurse only at their school 1 day a week? Why does my media center have a leaking roof? Why don't I have a math teacher? My only answer is that those are choices your elected officials have made. This budget is a choice, and that choice has been made to divert the limited resources that we all hear about to private schools at the expense of our public schools. Back to how I started this debate with our state constitution. This constitution states that the General Assembly must provide for a uniform system of free public schools, and we must guard and maintain that right. And by diverting $655 million in the first year of this budget and $705 million in the second year of the budget away from that constitutional obligation, we are in violation of the oath that we took to this Constitution. But even worse, we have violated the trust of the public who expects us to support their children. I hope the 80% of families in North Carolina that have made the choice to send their children to public school are just as upset about this budget as I am. I cannot vote for a budget that doesn't invest in all children, because isn't that what we're here to do? Aren't we here to help all North Carolinians, not just a group that we choose to be more worthy than another? I cannot support a budget that creates an educational system of have and have-nots. This budget fails our kids, and that's why I'm voting no.